Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel Tech Savvy Guy. So the last videos I had posted was me actually putting together this simulator, and I wanted to actually give you guys later my review on what I thought of the actual simulator cockpit after I got all the components installed that you see I have here now, and kind of give you what I like and some of the things that were kind of annoying that I don't like. So I'll go ahead and give you guys a rundown of that. So what I have mounted here now is the TX Racing wheel that is for the PC and Xbox One. The pedals that I have down here are the T3PA pedals that you can buy as an add-on or upgrade to some of the other packages that you might buy this wheel set with. And then I have the shifter over here that is just one of the standard shifters that you can get. I forget the actual model. I can put it down in the description below. The cockpit overall. So some of the things that I do like, the chair is extremely comfortable. It allows you to adjust it forward and back quite a bit. So all of my friends that I've had over so far when we played on this have all fit perfectly, from anywhere ranging from someone who was like 6'3" down to some of my shorter friends who are like in the 5'6", 5'7" range. Everyone fit nicely. The only thing we had to do was slide the chair back and forth, so that's nice. The cockpit overall is very sturdy as far as its construction. I mean, it doesn't really move around at all, so that was really nice. There are some things that I did have to modify to kind of make some components of it stay together a little bit better so they didn't move around and adjust, and I'll kind of get into that here in a little bit. The one thing I wish I did have the option to get is the wheels, that the casters that come with this frame. You can buy those from the UK, but they weren't on the US site, so I haven't gotten those yet. So now all I did was take some of the furniture sliders and just put it under the front and back, which has been working fine. They do tend to like kind of move around sometimes, and that's a little bit annoying, but minor gripe. So some of the things that I had to kind of fiddle with and adjust to get it perfect is the first thing that kind of annoyed me was the pedals here. There are some bolts that come with it that are kind of hand screw down type bolts, and they didn't actually come with washers or anything to help really secure that. And what I ended up having to do was I had to go to Lowe's Hardware and buy some, I think they were like M16 threaded bolts and some washers, and tighten it down that way, because if you use the hand tighten bolts, they just didn't really grip as well onto the bottom plate here. And because of that, the pedals, when you're pushing down a good amount, would slide around eventually if you put a lot of pressure on them. So that's one thing you will have to get, is some bolts, replacement bolts to put on the bottom to tighten it down. Another thing with this plate was there's slots in it, and for these particular pedals, the slots only line up to the left a little bit. So if you can see here, there's more of a gap on the, I guess what's on your left-hand side than on the right-hand side, and that's because the place that it'll mount where the holes line up. Not a big deal, because I mean it really does line up, so it may be just designed that way, because I guess it was over here, it might be a little bit off center. But that kind of annoyed me because I'm kind of a little OCD on how things are symmetrical and line up. So that's one thing. I wish they had more holes so you could really choose where you want to put it. But as far as comfort when driving, I don't notice it, so it's not that big of a deal. So that's with the pedal area. Up here, so let me turn this around so you can actually see. Okay, so you probably can see this here. So this base right here where the wheel mounts to, there's actually two little screw bolts that go in, and the back ones here, there's actually a little slot that slides up and down, so you can kind of adjust the wheel up and down. So I can understand why they did that, so you can get this to a height that you like, kind of what you would do in a car. But the problem is you got to really tighten this down with a wrench, or it will tend to move up and down when you're pushing on the wheel. So I had to really bow down on this to get it really tight enough so it wouldn't move up and down. So that's kind of annoying. I don't know, they probably could have given some better lock washers or something back here, because I don't think there's there's no lock washers on it, so that would help if they had that, which I guess is the easier replacement that you could do. Other than that, this is really good as far as the level and height of where it is. for racing, so not a big deal there. The other minor annoyance is the flex of this frame. So you can see kind of flexes here, and that's just the way that this is mounted here. There's only this little cross member that goes in between here, and there's a little bit of gap. And there's really no way to fix that from what I can tell unless you just shorten it down. But then you would actually have to drill holes into this, which brings me kind of to my next point. Here, there's actually used to be this type thumb screw, if you can see down here. And the problem with that is when you're getting in and out of the simulator, your foot would hit this little hand bolt, and it's just more of a hazard when people are trying to get in and out of the simulator. So what I end up having to do is they had these little rubber stopper type screw feet that were extra that usually go on the bottom. And what I ended up doing was I drilled out the hole inside of this cross member piece a little bit bigger so that it could actually screw this down in here really tight and it wouldn't stick up and hit you when you got in and out of the simulator. So that was one fix I had to do pretty quickly just because it was kind of getting in the way and it was kind of annoying. But that was another pretty minor fix, didn't take too much work. But they could definitely improve that and give you a different type of screw, maybe like a flathead or something here that you could hear and tighten down from the bottom or something. The shifter, as far as location, feels good. Really no problems there. It seems like it'll really mount and allow you to put all kinds of different pieces on there based on the amount of holes that they have. So that's good. What other things? So as far as the construction, that's really it. That's really my only gripes that I had with this. But other than that, I mean, they were tolerable. They're easy to fix, and overall, everything else feels really nicely. So definitely, I'd still recommend this cockpit for pretty much anybody. So as far as the racing wheel, if any of you are thinking about getting like the TX racing wheel, I've only had this one. I've never used any other one, but my biggest issue with that has been just, I guess, the compatibility with it and its software. So on the PC, it works pretty well. There's not, other than having to configure it and try to really tweak all the settings and stuff, no big issues with the PC version, other than I had to make sure my drivers were up to date for the actual chipset, because if not, the wheel would actually turn off in the middle of a game, or if it just sits for too long without you doing anything, it'll just shut off, and that was due to the chipset drivers, and that took me a while to figure out. On the Xbox One, I recently got that and hooked it up. No issues with it turning on and off, but there's a lot of issues with it actually recognizing on the Xbox One. And what you end up having to do to make it work is you have to plug it in before you turn on the Xbox One, and when you turn on the Xbox One, then start pressing the keys on the wheel and start the game directly without turning on your actual Xbox controller. Because if not, it'll recognize the Xbox controller first and never actually recognize this in your racing simulator games. So that is rather annoying, and it's probably just the way that, I guess, bugs or whatever in the Xbox version of it. But I mean, it's doable. It works if you do that workaround. It doesn't bother me. Other than that, it's been great, and I've really enjoyed playing my racing simulators over the last couple months, and would highly recommend this setup. So I guess that's pretty much it as far as review. Highly recommend the Cockpit. It's a great bargain for the price you pay. Very solid construction, just a couple minor things that can be fixed pretty easily. And if you guys have any questions that you want me to answer, like always, just put them down in the comments. I'll respond as soon as I can, and let me know if you guys have any other videos you might want me to make for you guys. And as always, like and subscribe if you want to see more. Thanks a lot. Bye.